Hello, creative friends, and welcome to the Stamping Squad. Today I have the most adorable card. I'm not sure what to call it. I'm trying to decide what to call it. It is a seed packet envelope card. Let's call it that. And I've got a couple different examples for you here. And let me show you why I call it that. So it's actually like a little envelope. We're going to make a little envelope. And then let me pull off this little piece of twine that is holding it closed. Whoops, there we go. And when we look inside, there's a packet of flower seeds and a little card that we can write our message on. How adorable is that? So cute. And this will fit in our regular sized envelopes, in our standard sized envelopes. So if you wanted to mail this to someone, you could. If you were mailing it, if you were putting in an envelope, you wouldn't necessarily need to put that little piece of twine on it. But if you were hand delivering it to someone, the twine helps to keep it closed so the contents don't fall out. But I love this. I think it is so adorable. So I'm excited to show it to you today. I'm excited every time I make a video, but I think this is particularly clever. So again, welcome. My name is Cheryl Dorsey. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm so glad you stopped by my channel today. All right, let's get started in making this cute little project. We're going to need a piece of designer series paper that is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. So it's just a square. And this paper is from the Dandy Designs paper pack that was available during Celebration. It was one of the items that you could earn for free during Celebration. This project would be great with any paper though. So whatever paper you would like to use will work just fine. I also have a piece of, this is soft succulent cardstock. It's 2.5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to die cut this. So it's a little more decorative around the edge, but if you don't have a die cut that you want to use, you could just use a piece of cardstock of this size. And then this one is going to be layered on top. It's a piece of basic white cardstock that is 2 inches by 3 5/16. And I know that's kind of a weird measurement, but I did it that way so it would fit right exactly inside the stitch lines on my die. So if you weren't using a die, you wouldn't necessarily need to get down to the 16th on your measurement. And then this is a piece of basic white, 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. That's what we're going to stamp our flower on. So those are the pieces of paper that you need for the project. And let's see, what should we do first? You know what? I think I'm going to stamp first. Let's do that. So I'll take this piece. And I am using the Color and Contour Stamp Set. And I'm using this image right here. It's so pretty. So that is what I'm using. This is in the annual catalog. And I don't think I told you today's date. It is March 26th, I think it is. Something like that. So approximately March 26th. Let me grab my stamp. And I'm just going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Actually, I think it's the 24th. Let's say March 24th. Isn't that funny? I don't know what day it is. I don't know. Maybe that's not funny. Maybe that's just sad that I don't know what day it is. Okay, it's a stamping day. That's all that matters. So I'm just going to stamp this on my cardstock. And then, now let me show you. This stamp set does come with another stamp like this So you could use this to color in your flowers. You could use a two-step stamping process to do that. I just decided I was going to use my blends. I was kind of in a mood to color. So I used Fresh Freesia, light and dark, and I used Soft Succulent, light and dark. I think those colors look really nice together. And they are some of our current in colors that are scheduled to retire at the end of April. So if you like these colors, I would suggest that you grab them because they are scheduled for retirement. All right, let me put those out of the way. Now, so you wouldn't have to just sit and watch me color or fast forward through that part. There we go. That's what it looks like. So light and dark, Fresh Freesia, light and dark, Soft Succulent. Okay, so then I used a die to cut this out, and I used the dies that coordinate with the color and contour, and let me show you those. This is one of my favorite die sets, and it is called Scalloped Contour Dies. So first of all, it has dies that you can use to cut out the flowers. So this is the one I used on here, and then this one is just the single bloom flower. This is a really cute border that you could use to make your borders nice and fancy. So all of that is fantastic, but these are also in the set, and I cannot tell you how much I've used these dies. This is definitely a favorite. So if you have not added the Scalloped Contours dies to your collection, run, don't walk, and get those, because we are coming up on the end of our annual catalog. That's where you'll find these. And end of April, the annual catalog is gone, and I do not know if these are going to carry over. I don't know if they'll be around anymore or not. So for today's project, I did use this for the little card that goes on the inside. So that's a commercial for the Scalloped Contours dies. They are fantastic. Okay, so I used the die on this and then ended up with this all nicely cut out for me. Did not have to fussy cut it. I like that. And then I wanted to do my sentiment, so I decided that since we were doing the seed packets, I thought it would be fun to use this sentiment that says, "It looks like spring." This is from the Thanks a Bunch stamp set. This was also something you could earn for free during celebration. So if you don't have this, no worries. You can find a cute sentiment that you can use on your envelope. All right. So I took some basic white cardstock and I used this punch, and right at the moment I cannot remember what it's called, so I'll make sure I put it in the description, down in the description below the video. Just click more. You might have to click it more than once, more than one more to get to the description, but all of the products that I'm using today will be listed down there. So the precise name of this will be down there, but that's what I used to get this shape. And so I cut out a piece of basic white, and then I also cut out a piece of Soft Succulent, punched out those pieces. So now I just want to stamp It Looks Like Spring on the white piece, and I decided to use Evening Evergreen for that. And again, this is one of the in colors that is scheduled to retire at the end of April. I like this color. It's a very dark green, and honestly, it's sometimes it almost looks black. It's so dark, but it's not quite black. So sometimes I want something dark, but not quite as severe, I guess, stark as the black. And so, oh, well, it would be nice if I actually pressed the whole thing down. So that's what happens when I'm talking and stamping at the same time. Okay, let's try that again. And actually let the stamp touch. There we go. That's much better. That's a much better technique. All right. Now, this is the same size as this, and I wanted it to show as an accent behind, so I decided that what I would do, and I've done this before with other punches, probably with this one too, I just cut it in half like that. And then I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this, and then I'm going to take my sentiment and lay it right on top here. And I'm going to kind of squeeze that together so I get it lined up. And that way it's just showing on the end. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this end. So a little glue here. And again, I'm just going to put that on there and squeeze, and then kind of squeeze the sides here to line it up. And that's what it looks like on the back. Nobody will see it, but it gives a nice little frame around the edges of your sentiment. So for the moment, I'm going to set those things aside, and I'm going to go back to this. And this is the paper we're going to use to make our envelope. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard here. And let me see if I can arrange it so that you can see it. I think that will work. So we're going to do 4 score lines. And this is a square, so it doesn't matter how you put it up here. Our first score line is going to be at 2 inches. And then at 5 3/4 inches. Then I'm going to do a quarter turn, and I'm going to score at 1.5 inches and 6.5 inches. There we go. So that is all the scoring for this. And now we need to use our paper snips and cut away some of the parts we don't need. So basically what we're going to do, I don't know how well the score lines show up for you, but we're going to cut away the rectangle on each corner. All right, so let me get going on that. And I'm just cutting away. And then I am going to cut some little slanted parts. To give our envelope a little bit of character, but first let me just get rid of these rectangles. So today is Friday. One of my favorite days. I like to make videos for you guys on Fridays. It's a nice way to round out the week and start the weekend. So I do have a question for you all. So if you'd like to answer, which I would love it if you would answer, just leave me a comment with your answer. Would you be interested in some type of a live event here on YouTube? So I have a couple of live events I do on my Facebook page, but I'm thinking about doing something on YouTube. So considering doing, all right, hold that thought. Let me talk about the project for a minute. All right, so this is the top. This is the bottom. These are the 2 sides, okay? So this bottom and the top, we want to wedge this a little bit so it has a little bit of personality. Let me show you on the one from the beginning. You see how the envelope has got a little bit of an angle to it? That makes it look a little bit more finished, I think. So I'm just going to put those angles on here. Okay, so we were talking about the possibility of a YouTube Live. So I'm wondering if, first, if that's something you would be interested in, because I want to do things that that you like. So I don't want to just do what I like. I would like to also do what you like. So wondering, first of all, if yes or no, you would like to see a live event on YouTube with me, and then what that might be. For instance, would you like to see a live demonstration of a project, or maybe something like mystery stamping? That seems like it might be a fun thing. So let me know in the comments if you'd like that, and then what kind of event you would be most interested in. I'd appreciate it. I really appreciate your feedback here. All right, so we've got these little slanted areas. Now, we're going to, let me grab my bone folder and just go ahead and burnish this so you can see how this is going to fold up into a finished project. There, and there. There we go. Now these two are going to fold in. This is the bottom down here, and this is going to fold up. And sometimes this is a little bit bulky right in here, so I'm just going to take my scissors and shave off a tiny bit here. It's going to be on the inside. It'll be covered up by the flap. Nobody's going to see that, but it does help sometimes to make it easier to have that flap lay down flat and not be quite so bulky right down at the bottom there. So just a couple little slivers off that. There we go. And then it's easier to close. So there we go. That folded up much easier. Well, the first thing we want to do is glue this closed. And you know what? I just thought of something. I'm going to stop right there because I have a template. And I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to get my hands out of the way. This is the bottom, this is the top. Because if you're watching the video and then later you decide to do it, and then maybe you're not sure, you don't watch the whole video and you're not sure exactly what the cutting looked like. So that's what it looks like. If you want to take a screenshot, there you go. I wanted to make that easy for you. All right, where were we? This is the bottom, this is the top. And let me just make sure, I don't think I burnished this yet. Let's do that, so we know that's going to close nicely as well. Okay, first I want to put a little bit, just a tiny bit of glue along here, because I don't want it to goosh out onto the inside, because then that would glue my envelope closed. And I don't want it to goosh out on the outside, because then that would be just a sticky mess, and we don't need that. We don't need that. All right, and then the bottom is just going to go up just like that. So let's put a little glue on the bottom flap. There we go. I think this is such a cute envelope. I'm sure you can think of many ways to use this, and it's not difficult. This end we're not going to close because we want to leave it open so we can put things inside. All right, so let's decorate it. And actually, let's do our little card that's going to go on the inside. So I mentioned that I took a piece of cardstock this size and I used one of those beautiful dies from the Scalloped Contours. So that's what I ended up with. Now I'm just going to take this piece of white, adhere it to that soft succulent piece. Here we go. And of course you could stamp something on this piece of white before you adhered it if you wanted to. I decided just to leave mine blank. This is kind of small, so there's not a huge amount of space to write. But of course, if you wanted to make a bigger card to go inside, you could. There is room. But I just thought that was kind of cute. So that's what I went with. All right, let's see. We need to adhere our flowers. I like this purple on purple, fresh Freesia on fresh Freesia. So I'm going to glue those down, and then I'm going to pop up this sentiment on dimensionals. So let's grab our glue again. And on these areas that are kind of thin, I'm just being very careful to get just a tiny bit of glue. It's almost like you just squeeze out like a little tiny bead and then smear it around with the tip of that. And then I'm going to press it down. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals for my sentiment. And I really love dimensionals. I really love them. And I'm going to put 2 because I just don't want it to sink down in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. And let's take the backing off of these. There we go. And I think I'm going to put that right here. Looks like spring. Yes, it does. All right, then I used some iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. And I think I will use those again here. So let me grab my Take Your Pick tool. And there are actually 3 different sizes of gems here. So I'm going to put one of the big ones here. And then a kind of a medium-sized one. I don't know where I want to put it. I want to put it there. I get very, very involved with deciding where I'm going to put my embellishments. And I think I'll put one right here. All right. There we go. Got that done. Now, I've got a seed packet here. These are marigolds, one of my favorites. So we could just put our seed packet inside. And then we can write a message on here and put it inside. And if we were going to put this in an envelope and mail it, it could go in just like this. That would be fine. However, if we want to hand deliver it, I think it's nice to use some twine and just kind of come around like this and tie it closed so nothing falls out. Nothing will fall out. So I'm going to tie a little bow here. And this is one of those times when I wish I had someone to put their finger right there. So when that happens, I grab my reverse tweezers and I use those to hold that in place for me while I finish tying my bow. I love these things. They work great. They're so handy. So if you don't have them, you can get them on Amazon. I'm just holding the knot in the middle so the whole thing doesn't come undone. And putting a little pressure there so I can make my loops a little bit smaller. Then I'm just going to pull that out like that. And there we go. Let me trim off these ends. One, two, there we go. And that is, actually I'm going to trim that a little bit more. I think that's longer than I want it to be. There we go. looks like spring. What a darling little gift to give to someone, especially if you know somebody that likes to garden, right? So let me bring out the one from the beginning. You see, these are both from the Dandy Designs, but the paper is a little bit different. This one has the flowers in the background, and this one has the plaid. I think they're both cute. I can't decide which one I like better. At first, I thought I liked this one better, but I do like the plaid. Awfully cute. All right, and here is the one with the bunny, which is also adorable. The same pack of DSP there, and the Easter Bunny stamp set is what I used for that one. So, adorable. How many of these are you going to make? That's what I want to know. Because I think I'm going to make a lot of these. I think they would be really cute springtime gifts, even like a little Easter card, right? Because it's springtime, everybody's thinking about flowers and all the things that are coming soon. So there we go. That's my fun for the day, winding up Friday. Again, I'm really glad that you stopped by. If you liked this video, tell your friends. Tell your friends about my channel so they can come and watch the videos too. And be sure and let me know down in the comments what you think about a Facebook Live event. Let me know. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.